But let's go over to the West and for the Spoon Bowl, as I coined it earlier. Perth Glory 3, Western United 4. Christian, it wasn't in that Saturday late time slots, but it definitely felt like it. It was the last game of the round on Sunday afternoon. 7 goals in total. Perth Glory have now won the wooden spoon. There was plenty of these defending optional kind of moments, plenty of content for the playing out from the back going wrong Twitter account.
There's no finals on the line, so there's that aspect where you're going to expect goals because both they're not going to be 100% switched on if that makes sense. Because like we saw last week, Adelaide and Western, also nothing much to play for as well. It's sort of a back and forth sort of attacking style of football where defenses go out the window in a way, and that was exactly the case over there in Perth as well for this game. Yeah, you're right. There was a couple of sloppy moments, especially the back. Both teams really relying on playing out from the back at all costs. And if you don't have the right personnel in the right place to play that sort of football, then you're going to get caught out sometimes. And that's been the case, I guess, for large parts of this season where they have been caught out on occasion. So, for Taggart, in particular, great day for him getting a couple of goals. But yeah, what more can you say really about this game? For Western, it's about sort of carrying on this consistency, since their move to Tarneit, and trying to carry it over to next season. We don't know the position yet of John Aloisi, but hopefully for the club he does stay on for next season. I think they do have the faith in him that he can carry the club forward. But yeah, for Perth, I think it's going to be interesting what they do in the off season with Alan Stadge as well. Do they keep him? Do they see a different fitter coach? Yeah, we're going to be eager to see how that plays out. But yeah, again, this game, just sort of really fizzled out in terms of defense, just attack the attack really.
Christian, you're right that neither of these teams are obviously playing for anything tangible left in the season. I think they were also both locked into the Australia Cup playoff games, if you really want to grasp at a straw like that. But Paletti, the one thing I think they are playing for is hope. And you look at the two sets of fan bases. You look at Perth Glory, who've just been smacked 8-0, the biggest winning margin in the history of the A-League men. Then they've gone and gotten beaten 4-3 against Western United at home. They're not feeling great going into the off-season, even with all the good things that's happened off the pitch this year. Whereas Western United, they're back in their home at Tarneit. They've had 4 goals, most of them scored by young talents from their academy. You've got Mac Grimaldi, who's just signed on, scored 3 goals in 4 games. Abel Wallati scores in just his second appearance. Ollie Lavale, 19-year-old, scores, just about 20 minutes of game time in the last few weeks. Rico Denizaki's only 23 years old. He scored a worldie in this one as well. So you take the two teams and there's nothing to play for this season. But Western United fans have to be a hell of a lot more optimistic about next season after this game than the Glory fans are.
Yeah, I think so. I think the only sort of optimism for the Glory fans out of this season is the fact that the ownership situation got sorted, and the fact that the new owners, whose name I'm blanking on, has come in and said that there's going to be complete reviews of the football department in the off season. And given that he'll have a full off season in charge to Ross Pelliger, that's the name. He's going to have the off season to work out what went right, what went wrong, who's good, who's not, who can be moved on, and sort of, essentially implement things his way as opposed to I don't want to say remnants is not the right word, but basically as opposed to the situation he inherited, where it's late in the season, he doesn't have a chance to change much. He's now sort of seen things for a few weeks, and can make a decision there. That's probably the only optimism that you can take out of this season for the Glory. For Western United, yeah, I agree, 100%. A lot of optimism. Yes, they've missed finals, but things look like they're trending in the right direction. For me, my key takeaway out of this game was does either side know how to play defense? Because there were some very poor goals in this game that shouldn't have found the back of the net.
There was, and I do think a lot of that comes down to mentality. Perth are clearly checked out of this season. They were last week as well. So it's slate is clean in an off season. It has to be, and they'll go again. I think both coaches will be safe. I expect them to start at their respective clubs next year, regardless of what happens from now. But it's interesting. They're young teams, very low down on the pay scale as well in comparison to other clubs. So they've got a ways to go. But look, the ownership situation with Perth, the stadium in Tarneit for Western, two very interesting teams that we will look forward to seeing again next year.